Most boxers and fighters are described to have a killer instinct in them, something they can't turn off, but something they can control. This instinct helps them as they have to fight not just for their lives, but for their fortune and fame. But is it plausible to assume that some of these fighters can't turn off this feeling in between fights? Even when the timer is off and the bell stops ringing, they're still in the fight. What happens then? This situation is presented in Martin Scorsese's 1980 black and white polarizing film Raging Bull. Adapted from the book of the same name, both stories highlight the life of Jake LaMotta, also known as the Bronx Bull, from his prime as a middleweight boxing champion from 1949 to 51, to his severe downward spiral leaving him with nothing as he grew older. It is from this catastrophic self-destruction by Jake's own insecurities that the movie has the reputation of an introspective into toxic masculinity and the effects of jealousy and rage contained in a person who is teamed to explode.
What's going on?
Jake LaMotta, played by a young Robert De Niro, is the subject of the film as the story follows him throughout his life. LaMotta, being an actual person, had his challenges being adapted to the big screen. However, it appears that De Niro understood that assignment, perfectly embodying an individual whose mannerisms and body language indicate a person who feels paranoia and insecurity above all else, hidden under a successful career. To prepare for the role, De Niro helped writers Paul Schrader and Mardik Martin rewrite early versions of the script. He also actually trained like a boxer and was trained by the real Jake LaMotta and entered into 3 sanctioned boxing matches, winning 2 of the 3. By the end, putting on 60 pounds in order to portray an older LaMotta at the end of the story. LaMotta in the story is not the person you want to root for, as he treats his friends and family the same as he does to his opponents, causing physical and emotional damage to anyone who tries to help him, driving them away as the instinct that helped him in the ring now leaves him alone in life with no one willing to help him. Vicky LaMotta, played by Kathy Moriarty, is Jake's second wife who is treated just as badly as his first. Raging Bull was Moriarty's first credited film role, playing an individual who at first wants to break out of the LaMotta brothers' grasp, only to eventually ignore the abuse. Vicky catches the eye of the viewer as her blonde hair and clothing pop in the lack of color, while also catching the eye of LaMotta, whose opinion of her quickly changes as he sleeps with her while also suspecting she is sleeping around with other men. Joey LaMotta, played by Joe Pesci, is Jake's brother and manager for his boxing career, helping him as a cornerman while he is in the ring, as well as getting rich, powerful people on their side as they bet on Jake during the fights. It's the relationship between the brothers that the movie's message can be interpreted through. As the movie continues, Jake's trust for Joey dwindles until they don't have a relationship at all by the end of the movie. The cinematography by Michael Chapman is beautifully suffocating as the movie is shot very tightly through hallways and alleyways. Almost no establishing or overhead shots can be found. This may represent Jake's closed mindset that he has put himself in by his insecurities. The boxing matches take the main stage in this movie, with a total of 8 matches, each taking a different approach and making the viewer feel uncomfortable awe as they are experiencing the fights. With each match, the ring gets physically smaller as Jake gets more frustrated, making the shots more erratic, frantic, and out of order, allowing the viewer to question what is truly going on within the fight. To question whether Jake was winning at all, fire pits were placed in front of the camera, giving off visually blurred imprints showing the visible hell LaMotta is putting himself through these fights. Editing is no different, as Thelma Schoonmaker used techniques to give a viewing experience as jagged as possible. The black and white filter was put in place to mask the color of the boxing gloves. The filter also separates itself from all the other films of the time being shot in color. Using camera flashes from the journalists covering the fights, extreme quick cuts are abundant in these fights. These scenes often end in silence and will immediately cut to a loud battle, disorienting the viewer and always keeping them aware. Using this knowledge, the insight score given will be a 7.8 out of 10, this being the movie's ability to emotionally drain you by the end, using a vast array of emotions in the movie that attaches itself to you and does not let go. However, the movie's meaning can sometimes go over an individual's head as the movie staggers through certain scenes that may confuse them. The movie also uses the R rating to its fullest intent as excessive instances of abuse and language is on display. While greatly affecting the atmosphere, it may not go over well with most viewers. The story being told may have been one of the first of its kind, however, it is a type of movie most casual moviegoers will recognize. With the insight score and the polarizing effect the movie leaves you with, it will be placed at a mid to low B on the tier list. With more movies added onto the list, it may even drop to a high C. Even with the lower score, I thoroughly enjoyed the film and recommend watching it in its entirety. Even if it will take a couple of rewatches to fully enjoy the film, it is worth a one-time watch as well. Jake LaMotta's story is not new and can be viewed as a cautionary tale to any individuals who are holding toxic emotions within them and letting them fester with time. By entering the ring of daily life, the options given will be to remain calm and composed, waiting to strike coordinately, or to face the sins head on, as charging with the ferocity and savagery of a raging bull.